You know when you have a certain history with something that you can't even hate fully because it's near and dear to your heart? Well, there's a few things out there I have this feeling about. Kangaroo Jack, Max Steel, Texas Chainsaw, The Next Generation, and of course, who can ever forget 2006 The Wicker Man?
What is it? What's wrong, sister?
You got knocked the fuck out!
But these are only a handful of films I have this feeling for. But if there's one film that is on top of this list, the one that defines that definition, it would be 2015's Gem and Holograms.
This artist who goes by
Gem.
Ladies and gentlemen,
From the studio that brought you Pitch Perfect,
let's do this.
uncover the mystery.
The whole world wants to know who's Gem.
Big fans. We know all the words.
If you got young blood, songs are wrong.
Aren't the words okay?
Rated PG.
The fact that Gem and Holograms is almost 10 years old blows my mind. This was one of the first films I covered. And just for context, I had just started my sophomore year of high school, and it would have been a full 2 years before Mac Movie Reviews even launched on Facebook. And the cherry on top, this was one of the first films I covered in my first year in 2017. Yeah, me and Gem and Holograms have a unique history, pretty much tied to the hip. Till death do us part, I guess.
Fuck.
So with that long anime backstory out of the way, you may be wondering if the film is good, and if I've had any change of heart on my thoughts on the film, because I've always been openly negative about this film. Well, after 9 years, kind of. I'll still say it's not a good film, however, it's not terrible. On its own, Gem and Holograms is a mediocre film, but as a live-action adaptation of the 80s property, it's bad. I'll start off with the positives. The cast does a good job with their roles. I feel that they have good chemistry with each other. Aubrey Peoples, who plays Gem in the main role, she does a good job. The supporting cast does a good job as well. They all play their roles well, and they worked well with what they had. And the other positive I'll say is that the soundtrack is catchy. The main song, which is Youngblood, which is actually by Stephanie Scott and Aubrey Pebbles, and then Hilary Duff is on the soundtrack, which is wild. It's actually a really good song. It's kind of a jam, to be honest. It's actually not bad at all. That's like, soundtrack in the film is really good. Really captures the spirits of the 80s show a lot.
Tonight, if you got young blood, let's party, red hot, feeling naughty.
But with the positives out of the way, on to the negatives. Pretty much everything else in this film. The story is one of the bigger issues of the film. It's the cliche of the characters getting internet famous, signing a life-changing deal with a record company. Fame comes between them and they have this big second act fight, then reflection and sadness, falling action, and ending. That is essentially the story of Gem and the Holograms, and it's predictable. Also added to the fact that the writing is not that strong and you have a recipe for a generic, get famous, save the rec center film. But I think the one thing that is the biggest anchor for this film is the fact that it's labeled itself as an adaptation of Gem and the Holograms. And I'm not going to say I'm a fan of the original show. Like, I never grew up with it. I watched some episodes when it was on the Hub channel, and it's a pretty unique show. It's a pretty fun show. I'm not going to say go and watch Gem and the Holograms like all the time, but it's still a fun show. It has that 80s energy to it, and that makes it good. And there's elements that are still kept in this movie that are from the show, but the energy behind it isn't there. And it doesn't help that the budget is only $5 million. So you need at least maybe $15 million to make a true Gem and the Holograms movie, because it is supposed to be like this big, flashy type setup with Gem and the Holograms. And, you know, with Blumhouse, you're not going to get that much money for Gem and the Holograms. And I feel like maybe if this went to a different studio and they had a little bit more money into it, most likely probably would have gotten the Gem and the Holograms as they were, not like Goodwill version of Gem and the Holograms. And just to top it all off, the creators of the show were not brought on to help with the production. It's just the icing on the cake to just show that it's just a weird conglomeration of just bad ideas. And this is a film that both Gem fans don't like and casual moviegoers didn't like. In a whole, Gem and the Holograms is a film that doesn't work as both an adaptation and a film. It's not a winning formula. And I'll also add, the mid-credit scene is one of the funniest sequel-bait scenes I've ever seen. And if you know, you know. If I can find it, I will play it in the video. If I can't, do not blame me.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
We're gonna get her.
Gemini Holograms was released on October 23rd, 2015 on a budget of $5 million, like I mentioned before. After its run at the box office, it will go on to gross $2.3 million. Dear Lord. Overall, Gemini Holograms was a total bust. While there were ideas that could have worked, they weren't fully executed to its fullest potential. But look at it like this. Gemini Holograms flopped so Barbie could soar. Hasbro property had to get out there to see what it was, and Barbie went and took it. So thank you for your sacrifice. And I'm going to give Gemini Holograms final grade of a D-. So let me know down in the comments below. Did you watch the original Gemini Holograms? Did you see the movie? And what other Hasbro properties do you think they should make into the movies? Until next time, I've been Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
This is fun! Hello.